Biological invasions are ecologically disastrous. But how do we actually stop invasive species? Let's imagine you're an invader. You need to survive introduction to a new ecosystem and establish yourself there and a reproducing population in a new and hostile environment, full of things that want to eat you and PhD students that want to sample you. You then need to spread to new areas. So how do you actually do all of that? Is it by being able to eat anything and everything? Perhaps you're the Adonis of the rabbit world and you're able to reproduce rapidly. Or maybe your advantage as a species lies in your ability to adapt to your new conditions. Too often, though, adaptation is ignored in invasion studies. So how are we tackling it? With the help of this little guy named Pitamapergus. He's a freshwater snail from New Zealand that's gone global, invading waters around the world, including Australia. This snail is asexual. It means that no males are needed for reproduction. A female can simply clone herself over and over and over. This affords the snail a reproductive advantage, but it comes with an evolutionary cost. You see, while sexual reproduction, the sort more familiar to you and me and Adonis the rabbit, generates genetic diversity, a key to evolution, asexuality might be expected to compromise the ability of this snail to adapt. And yet we find them everywhere, across a wide range of different environments. The critical question is then, is it the case that we have one generalist genotype, one clonal family, if you like, spread across all these different environments? Or do we have lots of different locally adapted clonal families that are locally adapted to the specific environment they're in? We're in the early stages of establishing this now. But using genetic techniques, we've worked out that we do indeed have multiple clonal families, these four pictured here. We're now establishing if this is due to local adaptation. This information is useful in forecasting the range of an invasive species. To put it really simply, you can adapt, you can invade more territory. To illustrate, the top right shows a map which forecasts the range of our species in Australia based purely on the types of environment they inhabit in New Zealand, their native range. We've already sampled them from outside that range, which suggests that some degree of adaptation to conditions outside of New Zealand has already occurred. Better understanding of this adaptive capacity of our snails, sure, but of any invasive species, will allow us to better identify sites at risk of invasion and more effectively allocate resources to their protection. We're showing that adaptation may well be the making of a successful invader, but it could also be the key to stopping them. Thank you.